Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Cooked Gamer here. We're back with Anno 1800. Guys, you can see I'm looking at King William Island in the Arctic. Actually, what I did, I forgot to show you. It's actually quite funny. But these are the geese farms, and right in the middle of them, I've placed one husky farm cultivation area, and like it looks so strange that they're right in the middle of all the geese running around and roaming, and these guys just sit here. So it's just, yeah, it kind of looks in a way that they're protecting them but not attacking them. I mean, it's unlikely, but yes, it's quite funny. So that's yeah, that's what I did. I think it's one of those or whatever that they just didn't fit, and I just had to place them somewhere, because they're quite big, right? They're much bigger than the yeah. So one cultivation area equals to two geese cultivation area. One husky equals two geese. So that's basically what it is. So it was funny. It was funny that I did it, but yeah, I don't think we'll ever need any more. As you can see, they're all. Oh, I didn't realize this one is not covered. Ah, okay. Let me just fix that quickly. Now it is. Yeah. Because that didn't have to. Yeah, that didn't have to be, and it actually had been calculated to the last cell, and I didn't have to move it. It was just my bad. Okay, that's fine. Things like that happen, I suppose. Anyway, so what we're doing in this episode, guys, because we've been... last episode had been rather long. The reason for it is that I've just... haven't been recording for a while, so I just decided to put out a longer one, and it was really very much focused on just kind of, I guess, going through gameplay rather than doing anything specific, if that makes sense. However, we were able to address, you know, the different things like the production, whatever. Now look at the money, right? So we're at 5 million. I don't quite know what to do with all this money. If I only had this problem in my in real life, but yeah. So basically that's what it was. But let me just show you, right? Because I suppose I was focusing on this island, and this island, what we did, we were developing this area, but in the meantime, I was able to just build this. Took me a few minutes, nothing too crazy, but obviously to bring it to this point, I need to kind of leave the game running. Anyway, let's just build this because we're lacking things. And this covers, it's actually quite funny, if I'll zoom out, it covers literally everything, you know, the entire island, and you know, almost Admiral. Oh, actually, it's funny. So the way, because he came up at one point and he had said his name. I suppose when they come up and they, you know, when you first meet them, when you start the game, they introduce themselves, and I never paid attention. So I thought it was, well, I suppose the English version would be Vincent, but the way to pronounce it is Vicente. Vicente. So it's, yes, it's very, I was like, wow, okay, I know how to finally say his name. I'm sure you all did. Yeah, it's just me being silly. But yeah, so that's basically it. That's the cathedral. Doesn't do anything. But yeah, well, apart from it provides obviously the reduction of goods, which is, yeah, which is very helpful. So we have now completed 3 of them, and let me just switch here. I say completed because this one is also ready, right? And that is the 3rd cathedral right in the front of the palace, which I think is okay. I suppose we don't need this church over here. I don't know. But that's okay. Yeah, I like the Cathedral. I think they didn't include one because there had been one already in the 1404. So it kind of makes no sense, I suppose, for them to do it again. But it's a lovely addition. I think it's just, especially in like on Crown Falls, right? You kind of do need to do it. Okay, so what we're gonna do is to keep going with all these. Don't let me. So these are level 5. I suppose we can go 4 as well. They kind of look weird when you do it this way. You know, they kind of stick out a bit too much to my liking. I don't know how many have we got already.
I better watch what I say.
Let's just quickly look. There's a way to check, so if we'll come here... Yeah, see? So we're 19 out of 25. However, this unlocked drugstore, I think. Yeah, there you go. So we can now come here. And a drugstore. And we are dealing with the same issue, right? We don't know where to put it. And I think what we will need to do is to put it somewhere here. Or maybe here. Yeah, I'm just gonna get rid of a few. Yeah, I don't like that it's off. But that's okay. Look, we've got so many points now that it doesn't matter. And we're about to get more. So let's go for the toothpaste because we've got everything. So it's just the easiest.
Your harbor is under attack.
Let's take a look. What's that? Ah, so he can actually destroy them. Okay. Well, so what we are going to do in that scenario...
This city is a magnet for genius.
I mean, this is kind of his main island, but look, I don't care. So we are going to... Okay. So let me first of all upgrade all these guys. Now why can't I upgrade this? Ah, it was just built, right. After being destroyed. And these guys also... I think there may be... Yeah, university situation. So let me just grab this guy and have it here. We should see them popping up. Yeah, as you can see.
Well, if people aren't all smiles, a perfect advert. But something's off. I know the mouth breathers are buying, but the numbers don't add.
Things don't add up, he says. I've placed this one because there are literally like 2-3 houses. I am gonna remove it. This cannot be removed, unfortunately. But since we're here, let me just put this in. Because that's what the spot is for. And that completes the area. I don't think we'll need any more. And there you go, right? So these guys can be upgraded. Why? Oh yeah, just one. Some of them are just slower, that's it. I do want to check, so we've got, sorry, 7 715 engineers still. Like here, 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 here. These guys are still waiting. There's still a few here. Ah, you're serious. Okay, well, I don't need one here anymore. So I'm just gonna have it here. If I can. So there's literally like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. It looks good. I think.
Accounting found discrepancies. I don't like to point the finger, but sounds like Miss Jenny's spritzing our budget on personal endeavors. I think you're more discreet than me. Think you can check?
20 engineers,
These
apparently.
Are changing times, partner.
Oh yeah,
Industrial
these guys will
systems
take a
work their
while.
way, and I'm not about to chip away at my worth.
So that's fine, and yeah, so these guys won't have power. This one does, but this one and this one, these are literally the two houses that will not have power. Which I'm okay with. I really don't care. Because otherwise we would have to have the power station here. Which is not necessarily what I want to do. And this will be the biggest problem. So I had been thinking
Let the games begin.
quite hard about this, and yeah, there isn't much we can do about it, unfortunately, I suppose, because you know, when you look at the building menu, there's really nothing here that we can build on water. I just thought we don't have a bank as well. Yeah, the bank is quite far for them. I mean, we do have space, we could potentially do it, and then just have more houses in between. But we're still then dealing with a situation where we don't have other things. So I'm not quite sure how I feel about that. Yeah, like the old town. Like church? Would church be that? No. Not in the slightest. Okay, well, yeah, this is definitely not that. Okay. Yeah, we can't do anything about that. So if I'll go to investors and the old town, like the cathedral would have been okay.
Your harbor
Should we
is
have another
under
one?
attack.
Kinda will look weird, I think. But I think it will cover, yeah, it will cover the whole thing. And what if we had it here? Okay, it would cover it as well. So maybe, just maybe, you know, if we had another one somewhere here. I wonder. Because like, so I can get rid of the school and the police. What about if we had that here? Yeah, it actually isn't too bad. Oh, it is. This one doesn't have a great coverage. But it is providing a better coverage here, right? This island, as you can see, like it's 1 million already. That's why the balance is so high. That's basically what's causing it. Can get rid of this. I think I can also get rid of this. And then we can... Oh, these aren't ready yet. Okay, that's gonna take a while, so that's fine, that's fine. Let's go back to here, because we don't know what's going on. Find Miss Jenny. I must hurry. Yeah, you do that. She's gonna go somewhere, I can't remember. One thing I was gonna show you, so I have placed 2 of the subway network thingies. So one is here, the other one is here, and I chose them to be skyscrapers from the skins here. But the problem is, let me just show you. So when you click on it, right, it shows you all of the coverage for that particular station, not for all stations. So then you click here, and that's, you know, it's just so annoying. It's actually, yeah, it's quite bad. Anyway, but that's okay. It is what it is, I suppose. But I think what I wanted to say as well is that it's actually not that particular station, but the particular station type. So if you click on the small one, basically it highlights all of the area affected by all of the small stations. And if you click on the bigger one, it only highlights the area that is affected by the bigger stations. So it doesn't combine them. So it's, you know, that's really the issue here. But that's okay, it is what it is. Anyway, we've jumped into the actual speed build. There is actually quite a lot to cover, so I just decided this is 4, maybe 3.5 hours of gameplay that we'll go through in a matter of 40 minutes, I suppose, or 45 minutes. So sit tight, guys, as I'll talk to you about all the different things that I'm doing here. So basically, because we will need much more skyscrapers, as you may know or not know, but the final monument in the game, which is the sky tower or the skyline tower, it needs 75 level 5 skyscrapers, right? So we will need a lot of them really to go through, so that's why I'm just making sure that we're kind of on top of it, and it's just a matter of building rather than making sure that, you know, something else is missing or not. Anyway, this area needs to be cleared here, so that's what I will be doing. And also, I think it's just now time to have something here. So what I'm doing first is just getting rid of all of the warehouses, whatever, because if you may remember, we had the production here before we moved it to the other world. So that's basically what's happening here. This area will be used for more investors. That's the word I was looking for. So I'm kind of getting that ready. I am at this point, I'm not putting any houses or anything like that in there just yet, but it will happen, don't worry. So the area is cleaned and cleared. To be quite honest, I wasn't quite sure what I was doing just yet. As you can see, I was just testing things out and whatever. But for the moment, we're back to the old world. In the old world, we'll need to make sure that we're, you know, meeting the demands and everything is kind of hunky-dory. The mail is something that I want to definitely make sure that it's kind of doing its job. So I will be placing all of those items. You may not remember, there was this guy, he's providing additional mail, and he can be placed in the Arctic Lodge together with there was another item, CC Celeste, that's her name. Now they are not part of the game, so not vanilla, they're only part of one of the mods basically that have been introduced. So I'm adding additional, as you can see here on the glacier and on this island on Prince Albert, I'm adding additional post office, just so it can produce more, can hold more. Because by the time the balloon and whatever it's being taken away, you know, it's just not allowing enough time to recuperate, I suppose. Anyway, so more ships for more routes. The first route will be the tapestries, because we're now producing them in Taborim. The second one is the film reels. This is going to be sent to the old world. That's really the last kind of region that we need things on. I don't believe I'll have any more islands, maybe one if anything, but I doubt I'll have any more islands in the old world, to be quite honest. So the Huskies, one thing with those routes is that we do, well, I don't really need the groups anymore, to be very honest with you, because there's so many of them that I really do use the search all the time, right? You know, and the way I'm playing is that once I have it set up, I don't really go back and review them, to be quite honest, at this point anyway. Anyway, it's about time for us to start adding some defenses on Mayans. The reason being is that the Vicente's island is just so close. They're constantly attacking and destroying whatever, so this is quite annoying. So it's about time that we'll have some defenses. And as well as that, I don't want to have ships there, because the ships will be attacking his island. So what happened now is that because I've placed the ammo, you know, building for supplying the warehouse, whatever, that requires additional soldiers, basically, you know, for that to work. So I figured that I'm gonna place them here, and what we may end up doing is actually having that entire island just with, you know, with soldiers. I'm not quite sure if that's what I want to do or not, but it may make sense, you know, just that. But it's hard to know, I suppose. But yeah, so I figured actually this works much better if they're in 4s and squares like this, rather than if they're in 6s, because of their design, or you know, or how big they are, because they're 5 by 5 basically, right? So I think that they would work better in 4s rather than 6, which, let's say, the normal houses would work in 6s, you know, block of 6 basically, that's what I mean. Anyway, so now they have to be supplied, so this is going to take quite some time because we need all of this stuff. As you see, I feel like I've produced like 12 ships or something like that at this point, just to be sure that we're supplying everything. So the bread, then we're going for the cigarettes. Cigars are actually already being delivered to that island because the investors are needing them. So everything else, the flutes. I also produced the balloon. The balloon will be delivering mail. For the moment, I just sent it to that island with aluminium because we need the, you know, the platform. And then the fish. Then we're going with lemonade. We're at this point in the game, right, that we're just kind of setting things up, but you know, obviously we still need to keep an eye on things in terms of, you know, the coverage, how fast it's being delivered. Is it being delivered, you know, frequently enough that it's not running out, whatever. So there are a few things to fix as well. I think it's like the workloads and the suits and whatever. I as well think that some of the items I will not be producing anymore, if that makes sense. Yeah, like the tailor's suits, I hate them with a passion. I don't know what it is. It's just, There's just never they're never enough, and if I cannot imagine if we went now to a point to like 1 million points for the scholars. I just cannot imagine how many of them we'll need, right? So the fact that now they're used by investors and everything, it's just like we always will run out. So I think like we would at some point need almost the entire island just with tailored suits, and kind of just well, maybe not entire island, but one entire island just for production of, you know, clothes and whatever, you know, between the linen and the thread and whatever else. So it's kind of weird. Well, we might do that. I'm not saying no, but yeah, it's just not a fun thought, if that makes sense. Anyway, so that's pretty much it. And the last route, well, not last, but once the soldiers are kind of covered, then I will be delivering the ammo and whatever else for them. And what's good as well is that I can actually use the ones that are in Crown Falls to see, you know, what else is needed without switching back and forth between the worlds. Oh, actually, speaking of which, I wanted to say Alonso. Vicenta had Yamato. Look, those guys were waiting there. So we need to sort this out, obviously, because otherwise they'll be waiting, because there's so many ships that we've sent, easily 20, I think. So what I'm gonna do is to just quickly place all of these, and that's for now. You know, we don't need the entire thing because that will take some time for me to build, so it's okay. And then as well, what I'm doing is that I'm just sending an idle guide to get some building material, because by the time they'll deliver, it'll take a while. So anyway, this guy the balloon is now here with the aluminium, so that's something that I'll utilize as well. But there you go, we need more ships. Those ships need to be utilized for things like the ammunition, whatever. Otherwise, I actually don't understand why the gas is needed. Like, I understand the weapons and whatever, you know, in order for the turrets and towers or whatever to be working and shooting and whatever, but why the gas? I don't get it. I actually don't understand it. Not quite sure what's that about. Maybe in a way of, because it's under pressure, maybe that's what it is, you know, like in order for cannons to shoot whatever. But look, that's what gunpowder is, not gas, right? Like it'll yeah, I don't know. If someone could let me know, because I'm not that knowledgeable in terms of like military and whatever, I suppose. So anyway, my knowledge is limited, let's put it that way. But yeah, so that's what it is. So at this point, we've really have everything, you know, so the supply was kind of easy. It's just, it actually took me quite some time. So I think just looking at a timer, you know, as I'm talking, this took 10 minutes, but in real game, I think it was over an hour, give or take, you know? Yeah, give or take. Anyway, so makes sense as well for us to have a post office. Now, the big post office, again, needs a lot of different things, so like the brass and whatever, so I'm just going to send a ship for that, so we can actually construct one. Meanwhile, the balloon will be delivering the mail, and I can actually go quite, well, I don't want to say crazy, but I can deliver quite a lot of it, you know, from here. I kind of didn't want to use the balloon, but then, you know, the island will be quite small, if that makes sense. And with that birdie bird item, if you can remember, it looks like kind of a pigeon. Well, it's a head of a pigeon. There's a reduction of the mail used, so that's pretty much it. So there you go. I'm just placing those guns, you know, for some sort of an island protection. And because we've got so much influence at this point, so many points, it'll just make sense, right? Because we're at 2,000. It'll go even higher because I'm constantly doing the, you know, the games in the new world and things. So and just makes sense to have some defenses. So I'm gonna introduce that to the islands, the other islands, I suppose. Anyway, so I just destroyed one of the steel beam production, whatever they're called, furnaces, whatever they were called. It's just because we have a lot of it and we've items that produce it and whatever, so we don't really need it, and we need more cannons. So what I'm showing you now is that I don't know how to unlock all of this. However, I'm unlocking everything that's available just by the standard unlocking, you know, requirements. So basically, the watches, I believe, they needed more. They needed like chocolate to be imported or something like that. So I'm actually trading water for it. Now it'll take forever because water is of very low value, if at all, but at the same time it allows us to get rid of the water so we can produce the sulfur and then unlock things. And I'm hoping that with just by going through the usual unlocking conditions, that it'll eventually unlock, right? And I can actually tell you that I think off the screen I've checked and it did. So yeah, so it did work, whatever it was, whatever triggered it, because the issue that we're dealing with is basically that the game isn't showing us what is the unlocking condition for whatever is locked in the docklands. So we have unlocked it by chance, to be honest, because I don't know what unlocked it. However, there are some things that are still locked and I still have no clue what's supposed to be traded for that to be unlocked. I'll be honest with you, okay? This is absolutely ridiculous. The sulfur, the addition of the sulfur is fine, but there should be a different way of producing this, because I mean, look, you can see now, right? So this is with everything, with the crown falls, the whatever. Now I'll turn off the crown falls, and this is, look how many waters we have, and that only produces not even everything that we need, right? And this is with all the items, like every possible item that we have is you know, placed and produces that water and everything. And I think I have at this point 14 ships that are just taking that water out, so there is constant circulation of, you know, that's been producing whatever. And on top of it, I also have docklands trading this stuff. You really kind of need to trade very valuable things, because otherwise you risk, you know, the water not being traded and then the sulfur not being produced. So like, it's, yeah, it's an awful mechanic out of that addition. So I think it's Maya Beck that introduced it, if I'm not mistaken, but I could be. Anyway, so we're dealing with, you know, the latter part of this not high end, what's the word I'm looking for? High rises, whatever the DLC was called, I can't remember now. But so that's another Yamato that we just destroyed, by the way. But yeah, we'll be getting, I'm specifically actually not making upgrading to 25 of the level 5 skyscrapers that trigger the skyline tower, because as I say, we're not quite ready with everything else as far as the oh yeah, there you go, the sulfur is now produced. So because we're constantly lacking it, I have just, this is a third Yamato, by the way, he brought it to Mbesa. But yeah, so I'm now done kind of caring about those waters and things like that. It's a bit of a task, you know, it is doable, but it's not a good mechanic. I've said it, that's enough. This, right? So Maya Beck again, I don't know what I'm supposed to do, so I'm kind of, now and again I'm kind of checking, maybe something has triggered, maybe something is working, maybe whatever, but it still isn't. So look, we're gonna leave it the way it is, I suppose. I don't think I'm gonna be developing that island. Not sure. Anyway, so we're kind of being attacked here and there, so that's why I was thinking, you know, we will be building like the flaggram placements, the different cannons and whatever, because it's kind of annoying to be changing and constantly upgrading islands, and well, not upgrading, but you know, repairing and whatever. We have a lot of materials and things like that, so that's not an issue. It's just like, yeah, all the time, constant notifications. Look, you know, someone had said it as well that I should just get rid of it because, like, but at the same time, I would like to go to war, you know, and let him have like meadows and you know, just for a bit of fun, I suppose, not just because like we could literally delete him very easily, if that makes sense. But then once we're alone, there's no one to fight with anymore. So I guess that's the idea here. I don't know. Although I did think that, you know, maybe going to the war with pirates and seeing what they'll come up with afterwards would be a good idea at some point as well. Actually, I was thinking, and I was looking at the numbers in terms of the episodes. This is the longest Anno playthrough that I did. You know, I think before I used to usually wrap up at, I think the previous longest was like 55 or something. So yeah, so that's basically what it was. As you see, we're at over 2,000 points. The different things are running and whatever. So that's basically what's going on. So I'm just checking. I like that the city kind of comes alive once the platform's kind of placed in the middle of the city, so it looks, I think it looks cool. This also looks cool, right? There's like a continuation of this. It's like a boulevard or whatever, you know, when you go like to the different countries, you know, when there is like a nice beach and kind of a boulevard or whatever you can walk. So that's, I suppose that's what it is in my head, you know, when I think of it, when I look at it. So this island comes apart, I think, in the old world. But here we are. It's time, actually. We're jumping into having this area developed, and we're not really interested in packing as many of the houses as possible. I kind of want to do it slightly nicer, maybe with some like, you know, plazas and things like that. So I'm not really going for the quantity, but a bit more quality than I normally would, you know, because the other areas are just very tightly packed with houses and whatever. Here I'll kind of make a bit more effort into having a bit more, as I said, plazas and you know, nicer buildings and whatever. So honestly, I didn't know this, but I'll show you I'll show you what I discovered while doing this. But anyway, so I'm placing these things, the train stations, and it always bothered me, why did they look the way they look, you know, this kind of main one. I didn't understand the green bit, the green kind of see-through and you know, kind of half finished, until I figured that, you know, it's maybe there is a purpose for it, and I'll show you in just a moment. I'll do this, and it was like a eureka moment for me. I was like, oh, maybe that's what's meant by it, you know. But I don't know if that's what it is or it isn't meant to be that way. But I think it is, and I think that's the reason why the shape of it's like this. Anyway, the game is flickering. It's definitely one of the mods causing it, because it happened right after I have added a couple of them, like the military attention and so I don't know if that's the one or whichever it is, but it's definitely, or maybe one of the updates. But so the one whichever mod has the horses, I do think maybe it's soldiers, one of those anyway. you know, causes the shakiness. And that only happens in Crown Falls. Every other island seems to be fine. So anyway, so that's it. So I'm kind of with the road. I don't want to say I'm drawing, but I am. I guess drawing the area whereby the the houses will be fed. Will. To be honest, I kind of struggled because I started placing these guys and I was like, oh, this fits so well. And then I thought to myself, we don't really need nail. So I wasn't quite sure in the end whether I should place them or not, but I decided I will. So that's basically what happened. I might as well just go with it. So I don't know if you just noticed, but I've placed houses on top of that building. Because that building allows you to do that, so I said, might as well. And yeah, we're going with everything else. So I did say before that I wanted to have the second cathedral, and I think this here is a perfect place, just because of the backdrop. So the waterfall is there. And this imperial cathedral can be built right away, so you don't need to construct it, it can be just built. So I really like it, and having both of them, I think it was just a thing to do, I believe anyway. Anyway, so I'm kind of looking for things to be placed, within that area, because as I said, I did want to have a bit of a plaza and things. So I'm placing the lights because I think it's just, for the towers especially, it's the thing to do. And I'm not having them swirl around, right? Just so they will remain static. And I think it really looks very cool. I wish we could illuminate not the cathedral, but the waterfall in the back. I think that would just complete the picture, but it is what it is. So I'm placing the usual trees. So I'm quite happy with that. It looks okay. And I'm adding, oh yeah, I know what I'll add. I'll add, I don't know if the red fits, but yeah, it's fine. I kind of, I don't want to say I don't care, but I'm not as particular about the color of the flowers. Anyway, so I'll be fiddling around with this because it's like half a tile off, so I need to delete some of those guys to make sure that it fits well. And I'm happy I did, and as I was saying, we don't really need those post offices in the end because we've a lot of mail anyway, so. But I'll place them anyway, because I said to myself, what the heck, let's go crazy. So this is the City Hall building, and it comes in a few different variations, mainly the roof and the dome on top. And actually this looks very good with this kind of plaza in the front of it and the little small post office. So I actually thought it actually worked out very, very well here. Anyway, so I am now placing more houses, and then more different things can come here. Those little areas, we can have like little sitting areas and trees and whatever, so I think it really comes apart. I actually forgot to connect the cathedrals, so that's what I did there. And there you go, and I'm placing and adding more of these guys. So I'm actually very happy with the way this worked, and the area kind of came together. And just in the moment I'll show you, because it was literally just now, it's like, let me think if I can do it this way. But before I do that, actually, I was quite stunned that the cathedral does not need to be covered by the buses. So it was quite interesting to see that, very honestly. Anyway, I wouldn't be myself if I were to not forget about the amenities and public services like the hospital and the police and whatever else. Then these things, I have not seen them before, so I actually will use them at some point somewhere, I suppose. So then the usual kind of a bit of a market or something can come here. And oh, this is where whatever's happened here, I believe it's maybe the airships that have attacked it and dropped the bombs on top of those buildings, so I will add more. However, before we do so, I think I would like to add at least one row of houses, just to kind of complete the look, I think. Right, it kind of looks together, I believe. And then we can place the cannons and whatever on the other side as well. And I think we'll also need more of the flak emplacement, because like he's constantly attacking with the bombs, like here, right? Like it's just such a stupid tactic. Well, maybe it isn't, but like, and then he sends ships 2 minutes later, so it's a bit strange. Anyway, that's what it is. I also placed the bank, and this allows us then to place another hospital, and I'm also moving all the different things and adding few bits and bobs, as we say. Right, so that's pretty much it. And I just remembered that we should have what's called a clubhouse, which is the members club, right? And this turns into a casino or whatever it's called. There was a bit of an attack in the base, and nothing too crazy. And here we go, right? So I'm just placing the buildings for the development of those houses. We will be able to upgrade them eventually to investors. Okay, and then in this area I will place a bit more houses up towards the mountains, but then I realized that we have a lot of workloads. However, they're not being delivered fast enough, or maybe they're being used too fast. So I've just added 2 more ships just for the workloads to be delivered. So there you go. It'll take me a while to figure out the layout that kind of works. And with the shakiness, I'm actually afraid that the game will crash if it's shaking. So I'm trying to avoid it. It's happened before with a different mod. So I don't want that to happen, because when it crashes, it's, you know, look, you kind of lose a bit of a progress, because the game only saves it every 5 minutes and whatever. And then, yeah, to be quite honest, sometimes you're annoyed and you're like, oh, I'm not recording anymore. You know, and then it'll take me a few hours again. Oh, let's give that a try one more time. So that's basically what it is. I need more cannons on that island, otherwise I can't place those flak emplacements. I think that's what they're called, aren't they? Flak emplacement. Anyway, so then we are missing few buildings from... Yeah, so this is kind of on top of it, but that's fine. And yeah, so this is what I was talking about. I think this is meant this way. I think the idea behind it is like this, and that's why you can place them on top of one another, but it's only my guess. I don't know if those stations are meant to be that way or not, but I think that's what that's why they are the way they are. So we're now placing the civic hall. This provides, it's not money, it's additional influence within its area. So we're kind of losing, but look, we don't need influence to be quite honest. But you know, if you are placing it, make sure you utilize the entire radius of it, right? Because it comes with its own radius. So you know that turns investors and provides additional influence basically. So additional one for every house. This is the big town hall, I think that's what it's called. Town hall monument, yeah. For the moment, I just placed them that way without designing the sides or the plazas or whatever that I was talking about for the moment. The reason being is that I'm kind of funny when it comes to this. So when I do this for too long, then the way I kind of see it is I don't see it anymore if it looks fine or if it doesn't. If you do something for too long, you're kind of, well, I do anyway. I then think, oh, I need to look at it maybe again later, you know, with a bit of a fresh head and, you know, different kind of, you know, maybe something else will work, because then you're like, does this match? Does this doesn't? Whatever. So. I guess everyone will be different, right? You know, some people can just do things over and over. I need to take a break, I suppose. Anyway, so I just decided to plaster all of this with houses. Not much can really be done here, I think. And I will also add another building that we have not used before, and I don't necessarily like. I mean, it looks nice as a building. It's just, it's providing additional money, I suppose, as a result. So, and that's it. You know, it doesn't do any more. I think it may be reducing production or something. Well, not production, but consumption of something. It's the bourse, right? The stock market. And again, it has its area of influence. I'm not gonna utilize the entire thing because of its placement, but it'll be okay. So this will be the finished area, the harbor city, I suppose, in the old world, and I'm not gonna have any more. It's pretty a lot. It's pretty a lot. It's there's a lot of it anyway, so. So then I'm kind of thinking what can come here, you know, next to the post office. And I just found this building. So this is an old town hall, part of the old town for the investors. And look, we don't need it, but I decided just to keep it there. Just for some variety, I suppose. Anyway, so then we're placing those things, and again, because it's not showing us the area of influence, I'm just kind of placing them, you know, as I feel that they'll work or want or whatever. With the lime, because we're getting constant notification, and like the construction would take forever, so I just decided to import it because it's not being produced fast enough. And it's also being taken away, so that's another thing. So honestly, I think that's what we'll do. You know, just kind of the things that are slightly underproduced, whatever, I'll just import them. Instead of like settling on our island just to produce some lime. So that's the bourse. Don't copy me. I don't like what I did here. But look, I actually wanted to try and see how it looked. In the end, once it's an investor house, it doesn't look too bad, I suppose. But yeah, it looks bad. It looks bad. It's kind of on top of it. I suppose you can place like a little plaza in front of it rather than a house. That's what I would recommend doing instead of a house. I actually wanted to say, so with the, I don't know if it's I think it's an item that we have, and basically the more houses we make, the more not influence, but the more attractiveness we get. And basically what happens is that once I make and upgrade maybe not upgrade necessarily, well, no, upgrading as well, but so once I build houses or upgrade houses, and we get the notification for attractiveness saying that, you know, the level of prestige has increased, the game slightly lags and kind of hangs for a moment. Nothing too crazy, but yeah, I've noticed that because it happened. There was like one after the other, basically, that popped up. So I've placed it here because it's a good kind of spot, I think. However, I did think that it'll affect the entire island, but it doesn't. So kind of ends, you can see here, just not even halfway through the harbor area. So I was kind of disappointed with that, and I was looking at maybe I should move it to the other side. But do you know what? At the same time, not that I don't care, but yeah, I don't care enough, as I suppose, to be moving that, right, or repositioning it or whatever. Because I then thought maybe I should swap those, but you know, the cathedral that we've built before with the other one, but it's fine. There's a bit of a bug here, so once you place this here, you can, I don't know if you've noticed, but there are two guys, I don't know whether they're digging something or mining, whatever, but on top of the water, so it's a bit of a strange one. So that's pretty much it. We're kind of nearing the end of this area. Look at the amount of trains. I actually couldn't get over the amount of the stuff that's being kind of delivered here and there, and there doesn't seem to be like a reason. Like, they're kind of just going around, or they don't seem to be delivering anything or doing anything particularly. Yeah, strange. Anyways, that's pretty much what it is, and I'm just upgrading more. There is still more to come. You know, obviously, I actually, in the old world especially, I do want them to be everywhere. So it's something that I'll do at some point. However, it'll affect the, you know, the delivery of everything, right? The production and things like that. So I think even at this point I have not checked how we are with things. So that's something that needs to be done as well. Anyway, so we're here. The thread is being produced and the tapestries. And we're kind of lacking indigo at this point. So that's something that I'll need to do as well on the other island. And then we'll need paper. Paper I actually will decide to be brought over. However, indigo I actually decided to produce. Not sure why. But yeah, something I suppose. Well, I suppose it's just to stay true to the mission in a way of, you know, making sure that I'm producing everything. You know, but at this point we're producing everything, 99% of everything, I suppose. You know, sulfur is really something that, yeah, I can't get over how weird that production is. So we're back here. Everything is really kind of overproduced at this point, I suppose, but it is what it is. And what I'm doing now is that I'm just grabbing some of the materials to be brought over to Mbesa for the construction of, you know, whatever is needed for the indigo production, I suppose. Right, so this area, this will be actually a quick upgrade, which I was quite surprised the houses were able to be upgraded quite fast. It's just a matter of literally, you know, not even a minute and it was ready. So yeah, as you saw, that house, that didn't look too bad, and once it turns into an investor, it's actually quite okay. But it's really like on top of it. If you zoom in, you see that the house is sitting on top of that stock exchange. Anyway, so I'm adding, you might have noticed I just added Celeste or CC Celeste. This is just to produce more, because one thing that we don't have on Manola is that we don't really have too many people, right? So it is something that affects the delivery of mail, and you know, especially if we were to drop it off to the other worlds, because Like Cape Trelawney is great. It's just like between Kingsgrove and Old World, it's only treated as regional mail, not international. Okay, so this is quite slow to be delivered and to be made. So what I'm doing right now is just looking at things where they can be placed, whatever, because we still have a couple of things to be placed, especially the palace. I don't know if I'll do the palace, or maybe if I will, I'll have it here where the what's it called? The platform is, or maybe have the platform in the middle and do it that way. So anyway, I'm back here where the suits are. Like, just thinking to myself, you know, F those suits. But that's what it is. The music, this part of the music I don't necessarily like very much, but it's really part of the game, right? But I actually, you know, when I play, I don't hear that much of it. I think it's when you're having war with someone it plays, when you're actually defending whatever. So I brought all the different things to this island called Gravestone. However, you know, to construct like the platform and everything else, really, you need those and base and construction materials, the timber and whatever. So I will end up delivering it from Tabarine. So we're doing pretty good everywhere, to be quite honest. I'm actually quite happy that Vicente is doing a bit of, or making a bit of a progress in terms of, you know, the military and the ships and whatever. I just wish that they didn't just produce one, send one to die, and you know, all the time like this. I wish that they yeah, they would have done something more, like, you know, created, let's say, or made, I don't know, 10 ships and send them to fight rather than one by one, I suppose. Anyway, so I'm just delivering those materials, but I wanted to say, didn't the cathedral looks really nice against the waterfall in the back? I thought it was really cool. I really did. I was quite proud of myself, you know. In the end I was like, woo, it works. But yeah, so what I'm doing is that I'm adding additional island for the delivery of the oil. This is just to make sure that we have, you know, a bit of a nice production of the indigo, because otherwise what's the point settling on a new island just for indigo if we can't, you know, make the most of it. That's how I feel about this anyway. So we can be quite wasteful when it comes to those canals. I wouldn't otherwise recommend it. It's just because they have been upgraded. So they're, look, probably one of them would cover the entire island. However, I'm not going to use the other water source, so I just decided to build it as well. And yeah, and then probably 2 or 3, well, maybe not 2, but maybe 3 will do us for now. Especially if I was to add additional couple of items, it'll probably be fine when it comes to the production of that indigo. So I do like the way this turned out to be. You know, especially this bridge. Yeah, I feel like it's kind of like a proper nice bridge. Something that perhaps AI would do. Yeah, looks really well. And I think I'm just gonna add 2 or maybe 3 of those for the time being. Yeah, I think 2 just for now, because there's a lot to do, and as you can see, the population as well is suffering because we'll need more houses, and because we have only one island that is supplying all the population basically between all of the islands, which we have 3 of in Beza. Well, 4, but 3 we're kind of utilizing. Well, no, we have more, it's just we're utilizing 3. That's what I meant to say, I suppose. Right, so I'm just adding a bit more houses, obviously, and that's pretty much it. And yeah, I suppose that's everything for this playthrough, guys. Definitely, yeah, it took me a while to go through it, but that's, you know, that's what the game requires sometimes. Yeah, and then we'll continue in the next episode, okay? Guys, thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you take care of yourselves and stay hooked.